and Hilda have quarrelled about his plans to build a new printing works. She does not know that he has made an offer for the land.
More coffee, Edwin?
No, thank you, dear. Will breakfast be like this for 30 years? Plenty of finest home-cured bacon, plenty of eggs, and no romance.
Can't I leave the table, Mother?
Whoopee! George, that's so unlike you.
Local divorce case, Etches v. Etches. Married only a year. Painful detail.
Lively kid.
You never told me that case was on.
Oh, I didn't know till I saw it here. Etches versus Etches.
Oh. What's the result?
Not finished. Here, if you want to read it.
Edwin?
What's up?
Seen your friend, Big James, this morning?
No. Why?
Oh, nothing. Doesn't matter.
Now then, out with it.
No. I was wrong to mention it.
Well, you have mentioned it.
Oh, well, if you do see him, tell him not to trouble himself with that program.
Program? What program?
Oh, Edwin. The musical evening program. We are giving a musical evening tomorrow night, aren't we?
This is the first I've heard of any program. Do you mean a printed program?
Oh, Edwin, whatever is the matter with you? There's going to be a program of music, I suppose. Well, it occurred to me all of a sudden yesterday afternoon how nice it would be to have them printed on gilt-edged cards, so I ran down to the shop. But you weren't there. So I saw Big James.
You didn't say anything to me about it last night or this morning.
Didn't I? Oh, I must have forgotten.
What did Big James say?
Oh, don't ask me. But if he treats all your customers the way he treated me, but never mind, I shall write the program out myself.
What did he say?
Oh, it's not what he said. But he's very rude, you know. Other people think so, too.
What other people?
Oh, no, never mind who. Of course, I know how to take it. And I know you believe in him blindly. But his airs are preposterous. And he's a dirty old man. And I say, Edwin, considering how very particular you are about things at home, you really ought to see that the shop front is kept a little cleaner. I never interfere. It's not my affair, but really.
What did Big James say?
Oh, I was given to understand that it was quite impossible. But His Majesty would see. Well, he needn't see. I see how wrong I was to suggest it in the first place. You going, Edwin?
Hmm?
You haven't kissed me. Now, don't get yourself worked up, darling. You know how sensitive you are. Lord, I loathe Saturdays.
Has she the slightest notion of what business is about? She came down here, she talked to Big James, she gave orders to Big James, Well, imagine Maggie ever doing such a thing. It's just not conceivable. Going into my works, behind my back, giving orders. Rude, is he? So Big James is rude. Well, I tell you this, missus. You're the first person who's ever said that. The first. Is she the first? Have other people said anything? Just that I haven't noticed. She has the nerve to say she doesn't interfere.
Well, a shop into drawing room, you know. Boy, what time do you come in the morning?
7:30, sir.
Well, on Monday morning you'll be in at 7. You'll move everything there and sweep and dust properly. This shop's like a pigsty. I believe you dust nothing but the counters.
If I'm to come at 7, who'll give me keys, sir?
I'll see that you have the keys.
Sir.
Didn't Stifford tell you it was your job to keep an eye on this place? I can't see to everything. The wages are in the office. Check them over for me.
Yes, sir.
No affair whatever of hers. She is me wife, though, isn't she? She tells him to do something, then he should do it. I must have a word with him. He's getting old and peculiar.
I was just coming to psych you out, sir.
What is it, James?
To bite that little job for the mistress, you.
Oh?
I set it up, my son.
Well, I thought you'd given Mrs. Clayhanger the idea it couldn't be done in time.
Bless you, sir. No, not as I know it. I intimated to her the situation in which we were placed with urgent jobs on hand. As is duty bound, sir, she being the mistress. You know how slow I am to give a promise, but not to do it, such was not my intention. And as I've said already, sir, I set it up, my son. He's a rough pulp.
Yes, James, it's all right. I doubt if Mrs. Clayhanger will care for all these fancy flounts. I should almost be inclined to set it all up in old-face. I'm sure she'd prefer it. Do you mind?
With the greatest of pleasures, sir.
Just one or two bits of spelling. A-E there, Z, not S, and a T in there.
Thank you, sir. I'll best be lively.
And I believed her. I've known that man all my life, yet I was simple enough to swallow anything she said. I can't trust her, that's it. I shall have to be on my guard. One thing for sure, I shall build those works, whatever the price. I shall buy that land.
Simple it is to be a man among men.
He's horse! That's just how it is. He's horse. Go on, go on. So it seems that yesterday afternoon at the tennis club, Mr. Batchcrew said to Maud, "Look here, I shall ride through the town tomorrow while you're all marketing. I shan't take any notice of the other girls, but if you bow to me, I'll take the hat off to you." Oh,
Jolly good tale about Batchgrew. I've just seen him on his new grey horse.
You mean his horse?
How old is he? 19?
Oh, he's so rich. And he's such a moon calf.
He ought to be put in a museum.
Oh, dear, I must go.
Here, hold on a minute.
Ooh. So, my ideas are listened to sometimes.
And how's the practicing?
Oh, pretty fair, but not as good as this program.
What swells we are, my word.
Hilda's idea.
Oh, dear.
Now, don't you think it would be better to move the piano over there and have all the chairs round here together? What do you think, Janet?
Oh, yes, it might be.
There. What did I tell you?
Well, what on earth do you expect her to say when you ask her like that? Anyhow, I may announce definitely that I'm not going to have the piano moved. We'll try things as they are for a start, and then we'll see. Why, if you put all the chairs together over there, the place will look like a blooming boarding house.
Oh. One of these days, I shall try the piano over there.
All right. One of these days, we'll try it together. Just to see what it is like. I really must drop in and see your father, Miss Orgreave.
Well, I'm sure he'd be so happy if you did. You know how he loves visitors.
Yeah, I should have called before. I really should.
Oh, I'm sure he knows how busy you are.
Well, Johnny tells me he's feeling a little better anyway.
Yes, oh, yes, I think he is. And all who watch at the midnight hour from hall or terrace or lofty tower cry as they trace the meteor bright moving along through the dreary night. This is the hour when forth he goes, the dong with the luminous nose. Yonder over the plain he goes, he goes, he goes. The dong with the luminous nose. Time for your drink.
I don't know why I bother to employ a maid when my wife comes trudging upstairs. Here I am in bed at 8:30, and here you are aggravating your bronchitis.
The doctor told you to be in bed by now, and it won't hurt my bronchitis to climb a few stairs. Now drink this.
I thought I said I didn't want anything.
You said you didn't want anything to eat. You must have something to drink.
See how badgered I am?
You say he drinks it all down now, Janet.
I shall.
And then come down and have your supper. You'll have it cold. Drink it up now. No, Father.
No, I don't want it.
You're only upset.
I don't
Father.
feel like it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bite you. I just don't fancy it tonight, that's all. So Edwin Clayhanger has become a revolutionary.
Revolutionary? What do you mean?
Musical evening on a Sunday?
Oh.
Worse than Keir Hardy, with his cloth cap and band.
Just where does Keir Hardy come into it?
Oh, I know you expect the world to quake. I can see you all sitting there tomorrow night like Russian conspirators at St. Petersburg. The blood-red flag of art and freedom lashed to a pole of the chimney tops.
Father.
And you know what the reaction of the towns will be?
No, what?
Mostly bovine indifference, I'm afraid.
It's really just for our own pleasure, you know.
Oh, quite right. Quite right. Take no notice of me. I've grown old and cynical.
Nonsense you talk.
How are those two getting along?
Edwin and Hilda? They seem very happy.
Oh, good. Because they're both good people. Even though I would never have said they were made for each other. Whatever that means.
Would you like me to read some more to you?
No, not now. I'll just lie here quietly for a bit. Don't leave me, though, will you?
No. How are you feeling now? You been asleep?
Oh, no, I just closed my eyes for a moment.
Feeling better, are you?
Oh, yes, only a headache.
It's a bilious attack, you know it is.
Good Lord, no, I've a very strong stomach.
You've often told me your father had bilious attacks.
That was me father. Doesn't happen to me. I feel quite all right now. Truly I do. I think I shall go for a walk. Take some fresh air.
Well, you should be very careful what you eat tonight.
You wait and see. I shall eat like a horse. There isn't a thing the matter with me.
Good. Well, now, I must go and see Cook about the salad. She's sure to oversalt it if I don't.
I'm certainly not bilious, I do know that. Move the piano over there. I know about these things and she doesn't, you see. Touch of fresh air and I'll be fine. More blood.
Edwin!
Hello, Auntie.
How are you, Edwin, dear?
Oh, well enough, I think. How are you?
Well, I've nothing in this world to complain of, except that my nephew works too hard. You're not going into the shop today, surely?
No, I was just sheltering.
Oh, thank God for the Sabbath, I truly do. At least my dear boy can't be working then.
No.
And where are you going to this afternoon, Edwin?
Well, I was just out for a walk, you know.
Oh, I did wonder if you were going to the Sunday school. You know, as Bert and Lucy are getting their prizes today.
No, I didn't know.
Oh, but surely Clara told you. Oh, such wonderful children they are, and such clever ones, too. Well, I'm just off to the Sunday school now. I couldn't bear not to see them get their prizes. And how proud they'd be if they knew their uncle could be there.
Do give them my congratulations, Auntie.
Oh, I shall, Edwin, I shall. And I know how excited it will make them, too. Is it tonight? Zilda's having a musical evening.
Yes, that's right, Auntie. We are having some music tonight.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I do know as my nephew is a Christian. Anyway, I know that for sure. Goodbye, Edwin.
Goodbye, Auntie.
Goodbye.
Breathe the name of Chopin in this land. Well, Sunday or not, I'm going in the shop. Thomas Orgreave, solicitor, Edwin Clayhanger, Esquire. Dear Sir, I have to announce that my clients, the Palace Porcelain Company of Longshore, feel compelled to call their creditors together. They inform me that they have an account outstanding to you for the sum of £180. Unfortunately, I come messing about here on a wet Sunday to get news like that? Dear Sir, my client, Mr. Tobias Hall, has requested me to inform you that he is pleased to accept your offer. for the plot of land in Glebe Lane, Shawport. If you would care to call at my office at your earliest convenience... That's done it, then. I want to build those works. I must build it now. I must buy Maggie's house. I've just made a bad debt. There'll be Hilda to deal with, but whatever happens, I must build it now. Better break the news and get it over.
Versus etches.
This really is too much.
What's too much?
You simply make me look a fool in my own house before my own son and the servants.
You've brought it on yourself. If you will do these idiotic things, you must take the consequences. I told you I didn't want the furniture moved like that, and as soon as my back's turned, you go and move it. I won't have it, and so I tell you straight.
You're a brute! Everybody knows it. Didn't Maggie warn me? And you simply do everything you can to shame me in my own house. Who'd think I was meant to be the mistress here? Even in front of my friends, you insult me.
Don't act like a baby. How do I insult you?
Talking about boarding houses, you think Janet didn't know?
Well, let this be a lesson to you.
Oh!
Do I go altering furniture without consulting you? Do I do things behind your back? Never!
That is no reason why you should try to make me look a fool in my own house. I told Ada how I wanted the furniture, and George and I helped her to move it. Then a moment afterwards you come and you give them contrary orders. Well, what are they to think of me? Naturally they think I'm not your wife, but your slave. You're a bully.
I didn't give any orders. I haven't seen the damn servants, and I haven't seen George.
And who moved the furniture?
I did.
Well, who helped you?
Nobody helped me.
But I was only here a minute or two.
Do you suppose it takes me half a day to move a few sticks of furniture? You ought to know perfectly well I wouldn't dream of insulting you before the servants. Nobody's more careful of your dignity than I am. I should like to see anybody do anything against your dignity while I'm here.
You ought to apologize to me. Yes, I really do.
Why should I apologize to you? You moved the furniture against my wish. I moved it against yours, that's all. You began, I didn't begin. You want everything your own way. Well, you won't have it. You ought to apologize to me. I didn't think I ought to apologize, but if you think so, I don't mind apologizing. I apologize there.
Thank you. But the least you could do.
Hilda? Come here. Come here, I tell you. By Jove, has it come to this?
Program, Mr. Swetnam.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to tonight all week, you know.
So have we.
About time something decent happened on a Sunday here.
Well, that's what we thought too.
Where's Edwin hiding? Haven't seen him yet.
Oh, he'll be down in a moment. He's got a little bit of a sick headache, I'm afraid.
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
Oh, nothing serious. And don't say I mentioned it. I'm sure he'd hate me to. Program, immediate program.
Oh,
Tom?
thank you. Useful having a printer as one's host.
Oh, well, we thought we ought to do things properly.
Oh, yes.
Did I hear you say Edwin was under the weather?
Oh, but nothing serious. Slight bilious attack. His father used to suffer from them very bad.
Sorry to hear that. Be all right, will he?
Oh, yes, yes.
Good. And now where do we come?
After the Weber.
Oh, good.
There you are. How are you? I'll be fine. You sure? Hmm?
Good evening.
Ah, there you are, old man.
Hello, Mrs. Cherswoodin. Johnny. Hello, Mrs. Coates.
Nice to
Hello,
see you,
Edwin.
Swetnam. Hello, Edie. Don't get up,
Good
Tom.
evening, Edwin.
George, behave.
Good evening, Miss Orgreave.
Good evening, Mr. Clayhanger.
Is your mother not coming?
No, I'm afraid she's not.
Oh, dear, I'm sorry. She's all right, I hope.
Oh, yes, but she felt she really should stay with Father. He has to be in bed in the evenings, you know. She sends her apologies. She says she hopes that you'll understand.
Of course. We're disappointed, naturally, but of course we understand.
I'm wild about this programme, Mr. Clayhanger.
Jolly good.
And when you get to the Hungarian dances, be sure to open the windows wide and we'll have them all dancing their way home from chapel.
Well, why should we stifle just because we're making a little noise?
Noise? I tell you, madam, I do not make noise.
Just because Mr. Inkpen is making wonderful music. So open them now, darling. I'm sure it's too hot in here. Oh. Now, we can start. You ready, Mr. Inkpen?
If my partner is, you'll turn the music, won't you, Ed?
Yes, of course.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the first item on your program is the Mozart Clarinet Concerto, which will be played on the clarinet by Mr. Tertius Inkpen and accompanied on the piano by Miss Janet Augrey.
Good evening. Not eating, Mr. Clayhanger?
No, I'm not hungry myself.
Oh, I must find music makes me ravenous. Wonderful food, Hilda. I say, Mr. Inkpen, I see you're playing Weber's first.
Yes.
Do you know his second?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I do wish you'd play that instead. It's so much more fun.
Well, I like both of them myself.
Then please play the second, just for me.
Please, now, no changing the programme. If the programme says the first, then the first must be played.
Oh, Edwin, I don't see that at all.
Well, I do. What I say is a programme's a programme and there's no changing it.
Quite right, old man. We should keep what we've got.
Why shouldn't we change it? I'm sure Mr. Chesbardin's right. I'd prefer the second. We shall change it.
And I say we shan't. After all the dash thing's printed now.
Printed? Good heavens, we'll unprint it then.
Unprinted? Well, I must say, I never heard of that. After all, it was you who wanted it printed, now you want it unprinted.
Oh, my darling, you are a stickler for words. All I'm suggesting is a change in the figures. Mr. Inkpen plays the
Mr.
second instead of
Inkpen
the
wanted
first.
to play the first. It was quite decided he should play the first.
Do you mind playing the second,
The
Mr.
first
Inkpen?
in the programme. We must stick to the programme.
Oh, but surely we can make a change if there's a special request. Mr. Chesbardin has made a special request. Oh, Edwin, do please say you'll agree. I'm sure it would mean so much to Mrs. Chesbardin.
Well, I suppose it's up to Tertius. He's got to play it.
Hmm? Settle then.
Bit bellious tonight, poor old Clayhanger.
Yes.
How's everything?
It's about the same.
Are you sure you want to stay?
Oh, yes, I will. There's nothing to do now. The nurse is there, and I think it worries Mother so much more if I insist on staying there all the time. It's about the same.
Ah.
Don't let's say anything to the others yet.
Oh, no, no.
winter's face what I see, to spring's glory waning. White thorn out spreading its clusters so free, in beauty enchaining. Once more behold from the earth day by day the ice disappearing.
I dare say they heard that in Hanbridge, and if they did, I bet it gave them a treat.
Bravo, bravo. Well, that's the end, I'm afraid. Yes, I'm afraid it is. That only leaves the future, doesn't it? And in the future, I suggest quartets. No, quintets. Yes, why not? You know, I know musicians in the orchestra at the Theatre Royal. I know good violinists speak and drill. I'm sure I can get hold of a cello player. And what about part songs? Yes, what about those?
Part singing in the towns?
I tell you, Mr. Swetnam, I've visited pot banks in these towns. I've heard part singing there, spontaneous part singing from the workers now, singing that would knock spots off the Savoy chorus. Oh, yes, I don't underrate the spirit of the Five Towns.
Talking of pot banks, you'll get a letter from me about the Palace porcelain.
Oh, I've had it. You've some nice clients, I must say.
Yes, I heard the Palace porcelain was finished.
Be lucky to pay 2 shillings in the pound, I hear.
They're very lucky. In fact, they probably won't pay anything.
Oh, you money today, old man?
What's this?
A collapse of the Palace Porcelain Company. Edwin was just saying he's been let in.
Oh, of course, Edwin's been let in.
Well, he's hardly alone. There'll be a score of businessmen, quite as keen as your husband, been let in by that one, Mrs. Clayhanger.
Still, I hear you got that Shawport land. Who told you? Young Toby Hall. I met him at the Conservative Club last night.
And what land is that?
What land is that? It's the land for the new works, missus.
Ah, you didn't tell me.
I only knew this afternoon.
Goodbye. Sorry I have to go so soon.
Yeah, you aren't going. What about them victuals? We've hardly started on them yet. I shan't touch them myself, but they must be consumed. Here, you and I lead the way.
Edwin, don't be so clumsy. Janet has to go at once. Mr. Orgreave is very ill. Very ill indeed. She only came to oblige us, you know.
Sent the nurse off to have some supper. I'll stay with him now. I couldn't leave. But, Mother, you must. You're not well yourself. You'll be quite worn out. How was the musical evening? Oh, everyone seemed to enjoy it. I didn't play very well. I'm sure you did. I'm glad you went. Your father wouldn't have liked it if you'd stayed away. You know how fond he is of Edwin and Hilda. Do you remember that night that Hilda recited?
Abu Ben Adam.
That was when she was a child. When she came back from London, after she'd been ill.
Oh, Tennyson's Maud.
Yeah. It must have been when she met Edwin.
No, she met him the next night.
Is that so? I don't remember that. Oh, your father used to love to hear her recite. To hear you play. To hear Tom play. And Alicia, of course. She'll be having her baby any day now.
Not till next week, Mother.
That's no time, is it? I haven't finished that jumper yet.
There's absolutely no excuse for her. No excuse at all. Of course, Edwin's been let in. What does she mean? My God. Ingpen's lucky to be a bachelor. Women are all the same. They're unjust, unintelligent, unscrupulous, giggling, pleasure-loving crowd. There was a time when she wasn't. But oh, yes, she is now. What a part of my life the house of the Orgreaves has been. I wonder what will happen to it in 6 months' time. Nope, there's no doubt about it. She's inexcusable.
Pardon me, but all my friends soon discover how difficult it is to get rid of me.
Come in.
Thank you. As I'm sleeping at the office tonight, I thought I might as well take one or two of my musical instruments after all, so I came back.
You've just been across to the Orgreaves?
Yes.
What is it, really?
Well, it appears to be pericarditis, supervening on renal disease. He's lost consciousness, you know.
Yes, I know. What's pericarditis?
Well, pericarditis is the inflammation of the pericardium.
And what's the pericardium?
The pericardium is the membrane which surrounds the heart. I don't mind telling you, I've only just acquired this encyclopedic knowledge from Dr. Sterling. He arrived while I was there.
Is it meant to be very dangerous?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Doctors never tell you anything you can't find out for yourself.
Oh, do sit down a moment. Oof. Stifling in here. Have all the windows been closed?
Oh, let me open it.
That will have been Edwin, I suppose.
Appears the attack only came on this afternoon.
Yes, I know, Janet said.
It's wonderful how those Orgreaves went through the evening, wasn't it? Makes you proud of being English. I suppose Janet's a great friend of yours. Ed gone to bed, has he? He stuck it out jolly well.
Oh, he brings these attacks on himself.
We bring everything on ourselves.
What do you think of this new scheme of his?
The new works, it seems all right. As a principle, I approve, of course, but I don't know too much about the details.
Well, I'm not so sure. It seems to me we're all right as we are. And you see, I don't see any point in taking this sort of risk. And you know, to be honest, Edwin isn't right for it. I mean, he's splendid. But he'll never push. I can look at him quite impartially in these sort of things, I mean.
Have you had much business experience yourself?
Oh, depends what you call business. I suppose you know I used to run a boarding house.
No, I didn't know. Oh, well, I may have heard vaguely. Did you make it pay?
It did pay in the end.
But not at first. Any disasters?
Oh, yes.
And who came to the rescue?
Edwin did.
I see.
I think you knew all about it.
Pardon me, almost nothing.
Ah, but you take Edwin's side.
Are we talking man to man?
Most decidedly.
And I'll tell you my leading theory. The proper place for women is in the harem.
Mr. Inkpen.
No, I'm talking man to man. I can whisper sweet nothings to you if you prefer it, but I thought we were trying to be honest. I hold a belief. I state it. I may be wrong, but I hold that belief. Now, you can persecute me for my belief if you like, but surely you're not afraid of an idea. So if you don't like the mere word, let's call it Zinana, Indian version. Let's call it drawing room and kitchen if you prefer.
So we are to be kept in our sphere.
Now, don't be resentful. Naturally, you're to be kept in your own sphere. If Edwin started dancing around in the kitchen, you soon begin talking to him about spheres. You can't have the advantages of married life for nothing. Neither you nor he. But some of you women nowadays seem to expect them gratis. Let me tell you, everything has to be paid for on this particular planet. Now, I am a bachelor. Often thought about getting married, of course. I might get married someday. You never know your luck. But if I do...
You will keep your wife in the harem, and she will have to accept without daring to say a word all the risks you choose to take.
There you are again. This notion that marriage ought to be the end of risks for a woman is astonishingly rife. I find it. It's very curious. It's very curious. Why, it's the beginning of them. Doesn't the husband take risks?
Yes, but he chooses his own. He doesn't have business risks thrust upon him by his wife.
Doesn't he? What about the risk of finding yourself tied to life to an inefficient housekeeper? Surely that's something of a business risk, isn't it? I've known more than one man let in for it.
And you felt so sorry for him?
No, not especially. You must run risks. When you stop running risks, you're dead and you ought to be buried. If I were a wife, I should enjoy running a risk with my husband. I swear I shouldn't want to shut myself up in a glass case with him out of all drafts. Why? What are we alive for?
Yes. So, you sleep at the office sometimes?
Certain elasticity in one's domestic arrangements. Good night. I must go.
Oh, I did so enjoy the music. It was wonderful. We must keep it up every other Sunday.
Yes.
Does the world outside look different for what happened here tonight?
Can't say I noticed the heavens having fallen in. Thank you.
How are you to manage those on your bicycle?
Oh, I don't know. Unfortunately, I never shall. I park my bicycle at the office on the way here.
Ah, very sensible.
There are some risks even I do not take. Clarinet plus violin plus bicycle equals falling off.
Good night, Mr. Inkpen.
Good night, Mrs. Clayhanger.
Oh, nonsense he talks about women. Etches versus etches.
She may hate me, but she loves me. She can't deny that.